meeting to order here.
Hold on. Hold on. Okay.
How's it here? Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of these. Is it all? Wow.
Yeah, it is really slow today.
Oh, no, there's
Yeah,
the
pack.
Okay, that's better. There you go.
It's loading,
It's-
so.
it's loading?
Yeah, so
Just give
you.
it a second.
Yeah.
Stapled on the right, that's very confusing for me. Do you have
Yeah,
election
so
brain
it's the
too?
automatic staple thing.
It's just not staple for me to be stapled.
I have mine, so there's an extra.
Question then maybe is it right or left?
Okay, if I just go here.
It's stapled on the right.
Here we go.
It is.
All right, wait.
If you are to push to that, you're always going to
Do the next one, right, there we go, 'cause that's what I did the last time. I wasn't, okay.
I'm surprised.
And now,
Action. All right, we'll call this meeting to order here. We will start with the roll call. Chair, Seth Hoffmeister present. Vice Chair,
Present.
Alder Scannell. Here. Mark Walder.
Here?
Deborah Hutchison.
here,
Essie Fells.
Here,
Chase Highland.
Here.
Julia
Nordic.
Nordic.
Yes.
And Stephanie Ortiz is not here. All right, we'll move on to item B, approval of the agenda.
wait, hold on. Okay,
All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda for today?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I'd just like to
Aye. Aye.
Oh.
Comment? No discussion?
Thank you. Under regular business, number 1, that was actually a request I made to my alderman before being placed onto the commission here. I'm not sure I'll be here to speak to that. I have to leave early tonight, but I think it's pretty straightforward. If you do need to hold it over, whatever you guys need.
You want me
Need
to
to
decide
decide.
to table it?
If you need to hold, table it till next time. Otherwise, I think it's pretty straightforward if you want to discuss it, just as a clarification.
Can we volunteer you for anything?
Everything.
You're
He's
fired.
leaving. He's the man.
That's
the
all.
motion is to approve or to amend?
You want to amend it so you can talk first? Okay.
All right, so motion to approve. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda as is, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose? All right, agenda is approved. And item C, approval of the minutes from our October 4th meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
We've got a motion
Hold
to
on one
approve.
second.
Yeah, she always.
Oh, sorry.
Look toward her when she's
I
ready.
just get so excited.
I know. It takes a while. You get
Who made the
hang of it.
motion, I'm sorry?
Randy.
And who seconded it?
Nobody yet.
Okay.
Second. And second by
Okay,
Chase.
Chase.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes from October 4th,
Chasing.
say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. All right,
Okay.
the minutes are approved. All right, and now moving on to item D. We have some special guests here from Wisconsin DNR. Weston Wagner and Will Erickson are going to give us a presentation on the Green Here Legacy Community Program. So why don't you guys take it away?
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you
Would you
very
like to
much.
start with the PowerPoint?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give a short introduction, then we'll dive into the PowerPoint. Go ahead. Excuse me.
The narrow.
Sure. So hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for having us here. Very pleased to be here in Green Bay. I guess I'd just like to start off by giving you a little bit of background on myself, on the Green Tier program, and then we'll dive into the legacy communities
You're good.
with Will. So, first of all, my name is Weston Wagner. I was born here in Green Bay, lived here for most of my life. My dad has worked for the Public Works Department here for going on 20 years now. And while I was in school at UW-Whitewater, I spent a few summers here as well working for the Public Works Department. So have a lot of ties to Green Bay, really love the city, so when I heard you guys had a sustainability commission or were forming one, I got really excited and wanted to get involved. So at UW Whitewater, spent 4 years there studying environmental science, and I studied for 6 months in Freiburg, Germany, which is known pretty widely for its sustainability efforts. So after returning, I've been working with our state sustainability program here, which is Green Tier, ever since. So a little bit more about Green Tier. Green Tier, we like to think of ourselves as kind of a suite of environmental services. So we have the Green Tier program, we have the compliance audit program, which can be very useful for businesses, and we have the small business environmental assistance program. So I don't have materials with me today about the compliance audit program, but I'd be definitely willing to speak a little bit more if anybody's interested in that. I do have some materials here, as you'll see, about the small business environmental assistance program. They are a confidential program that helps businesses with their environmental goals, or with their environmental needs. So if a business has a question about permitting or something like that, they can call up the small business program and ask them a question, and that's all kept confidential. So it's not, so if they are asking about anything that they're afraid may get them in trouble, it's about helping them reach their goals. It's not about anything like that. So small business environmental assistance program, there's more outreach materials here. The Green Tier program has a few different levels of participation, or a few different ways to participate. We have Tier 1 and Tier 2, and we have charters. So Tier 1 and Tier 2 are focused towards businesses. So these businesses, a requirement of being in Green Tier means that these businesses have to operate with an environmental management system, which means that they're really looking for ways to improve their environmental performance, identify all places where they may impact the environment, and they look to address those and work towards continual improvement of their environment. So Tier 2 is a little bit more strict. They have more audit frequency, that they have to audit their system, and they also have some regulatory flexibilities that they can get into with when they're working on an innovative project or things like that with the DNR. So the DNR, or the Green Tier program, is unique in that it is the only sustainability program that's housed in the Department of Natural Resources. And one of the other unique sides of things that we have is having the charters. Legacy Communities is one of these charters. And we also have a few others. Legacy Communities is the largest and the one we'll focus in on today. But essentially what a charter is it brings people together, people, organizations, nonprofits, other state agencies. We have a big network of people who all kind of work together towards common goals. So the Legacy Communities is really a network of communities who are like-minded and working to achieve their sustainable projects, their projects in sustainability. So instead of an EMS, an environmental management system, these charters have other methods, as you can see with the sustainability score sheet, in which they can measure and track their environmental performance and really try to push that envelope further and further. So again, thank you guys for having us today. We had the opportunity on the way up to stop at a few companies that are in the area. So we stopped at Sadov Iron and Metal. They're down in Oshkosh. They're doing some wonderful things. That was really cool to see them.
Oshkosh and Fond du Lac.
Oshkosh and Fond du Lac. They have a few different
Fond du Lac
sites.
first.
Yes. And then we also stopped at ITAD Logic. They're another electronic recycling place in Neenah. There's a few others in the area that you may know. Tosca in Green Bay is one, and then CA Lawton is another Green Tier participant. So those are on the business side. And I guess without any further ado, I'll turn over kind of the Legacy Communities presentation to my colleague Will here.
And before you go, you can give your work address, but you need to give us an address, a street name, a house number or building number, street and town.
Sure. So our address is 101 South Webster Street, Madison, Wisconsin. So, yeah.
Awesome, yeah, thank you. So Green Tier Legacy Communities formed in 2010. It started as 5 communities. If you could actually hit the next slide, that is our flag. We fly loud and proud. So you might recognize some faces here, some kind of folks on the sustainability scene. There's Mayor Hannah from Appleton, Mayor Larry McDonald from Bayfield. So this was our first 5 charter signatories, along with DNR representatives and some of our NGO representatives as well, signing the charter in 2010. We started, as I mentioned, as 5 communities. Next slide. As you can see now, we've grown to 23 communities, and also within the last 2 years, we've added counties, which has been a really exciting advent. With the addition of counties, it kind of ups our scope, our impact of the work we're doing, and we're really pleased with the growth in the past 2 years. We're at 23, like I mentioned, and the work we do here impacts nearly 1 million Wisconsinites now. So we'd love to have Green Bay and up that so I could say 1 million Wisconsinites with some more certainty. But as you can see, legacy communities are geographically diverse and really vary in size. We find some of our niches working with some of these smaller communities. We have communities as small as Egg Harbor, Bayfield, and as large as Appleton, La Crosse, Eau Claire. So it's really inspiring to get the opportunity to work with these different kinds of communities, work with different city planners, clerks. Legacy community participation varies from community to community who sits at the table, but we really try to emphasize that joining legacy communities, you're not just signing on your city administration, you're truly joining your community, and we really stoke that kind of part of participation. We want the fire soul people there. We want the people who are serving on committees to attend meetings and network with mayors and city administrators and really take advantage of the network and share best management practices, share obstacles and opportunities they're experiencing in their community, because 9 times out of 10, we're dealing with the same problems here at a city, community, county level. So we really try to find duplicative models and things that we can take back and share with our network and share with our members. Next slide. This is kind of like word association with these pictures, but these are our charter partners. We're very fortunate, as we mentioned, to have these nonprofits on the table, at the table with us. They serve as executive committee members also, and we meet monthly to kind of guide the direction and steer, really what we're working on, steer the initiatives and hear from our communities, and then set out to provide the governance structure to really tackle some of these problems. So we have the Wisconsin Counties Association. John Hokemer is our executive committee rep, and he's just been a treat to work with. He's really been influential in PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy Financing. I'll get to that. The League of Wisconsin Municipalities, 1,000 Friends of Wisconsin, COWS, the Center on Wisconsin Strategy, and WET, Wisconsin Energy Conservation, all really dedicate time and resources to this network. And when you join, not only do you have direct access to DNR technical assistance and staff, but also you have direct access to these fine nonprofits and organizations, and it's really a valuable resource. And these guys really care about the work that's being done in legacy communities, and it's really core to the mission of their own organizations as well. So that's probably the biggest asset we have. Next slide, please. Governance. So this is us. You might recognize some of those faces. Weston and I are far right. But this was at our annual meeting in Stevens Point. We got together in Stevens Point. We met downtown there. We were joined by one special guest. She photobombed us in the polka dots, if you couldn't guess. So this was really a great day. We had folks from across the state come together. All of our members were represented in some form or fashion, and this was just a great day. We brought in speakers from UW Extension, speakers from UW-Madison, various other organizations, and we really just spent the day networking, different workshops on the energy task forces and healthy community task forces we have. And this is a real benefit of participation, is that we have these member meetings where we provide a chance for city staff and county staff to get together and network with their peers across the state. Each meeting is hosted at a different legacy community as well, so we'd kill to get into Green Bay for a nice, maybe long weekend, who knows. They're always on Mondays. Typically the 5th Monday of the month we find works best for folks to get together and meet. So again, that's a real benefit, and this is something that we enjoy doing and that our members, we've got a lot of feedback on. We have a selfie stick video Weston took too from our last one. We didn't bring, but that is always good for a chuckle. We passed the selfie stick around the table, and it's really, again, this is a great means to kind of inspire and recharge city and county staff's batteries and send them home technically. The theme of this meeting too was we want you to be a better city staff or county staff on Tuesday than you were on Monday after attending the meeting. So we really try to provide resources and technical assistance and things that you can really, tangible takeaways from each meeting.
And the ability to network at these meetings is something that we hear a lot. I mean, these communities can really bounce ideas off of each other and see what works, see what doesn't work. It's been a really valuable experience to be a part of these meetings, and that was one of the first ones I was at, so it was great to get to meet everybody and see the cool things that are going on throughout the network.
Are you
And
just
so-
happy because you're standing outside booths?
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. And the public library.
And we had a great speaker from Stevens Point come.
Yes, we
the
did.
sustainability
Yeah,
coordinator.
Dave Barbier from
Oh,
UW
yeah.
Stevens Point came and he ended the day on such a
cool.
high note for us. Gave one of the coolest interactive, kind of inspiring keynote talks to end it. So we really enjoy those. And then, so you can see too, it's different levels of participation. You have mayors there, you have city administrators, planners, clerks, and then just volunteers and interested citizens as well from communities. So this is a good snapshot representation of who we are and kind of what we're about. Next slide, please. So the benefits of belonging to legacy communities, kind of talked about this, but direct access to DNR, technical staff and expertise. It's not just Weston and I, thank God. You also have other programs that are very interested in the health of legacy communities, and also part and parcel, it's part of their mission to work with these communities as well. So drinking and groundwater folks are very involved with us. Forestry folks are very involved with us, urban forestry. And so we find that it provides them kind of a captive audience of communities that they can directly tap into and take advantage of our great working relationship. And then it's more expertise and technical assistance we can bring to the table. Potential to receive discretionary funding and preference in awarding of DNR grants. That's not only DNR grants, we have in-kind matches as well with the Office of Energy Innovation and some other grant programs. You're not guaranteed to win any grant by being in legacy community. However, if there is a tie or whatnot, the tiebreaker would be that additional grant point consideration for your legacy community participation. So that's something we try to really convey to our members, and it's something that we've seen really work. And it's also beyond just getting that potential. We actively seek out grants for our members. We have a funding calendar that we keep populated, and then anything we see timely and pertinent, we make sure to send out to our members and say, hey, are you applying? Would you like help? We write letters of support all the time. I love writing letters of support for grants. And then actually with our flexibility with our NGO partners, they can be the grant administrator on some of these grants, and we've had great success with forming together as a coalition of communities working on things. We recently received a grant for green infrastructure on the Great Lakes Basin to do tree plantings. And 1,000 Friends was the grant administrator. We had 4 eligible communities from Oshkosh to Bayfield participate and receive grants to plant trees, and that was all done through 1,000 Friends. We work directly with their arborists and city planners to get site maps and such, but we really try to say, we don't want to be a workload creator. We hear so often municipalities are so stretched thin, counties are so stretched thin. So we try to be a workload alleviator and try to be kind of a seamless mesh you can put over your existing efforts. And I'll just say, if you have a sustainability commission, we were so pumped when we heard Green Bay was forming this, because if you have the folks and the minds you have in this room together already committing to meeting once a month, you're ahead of the curve, and Green Tier participation, legacy community participation will be no burden, and we hope, again, it'll be just a mesh you can put over your existing efforts where we can support what you're already working on, open your eyes to some things you may not be aware about, and then share out with the rest of the group. And then again, it creates a forum to be recognized for achievements. We have 2 legacy community sites. One of them is hosted by 1,000 Friends, our NGO partner. That's because the DNR kind of has a web police, and we don't have all the capabilities for an interfacing website like we'd like. So with that website, we have a members-only access site where we keep our minutes, and it's kind of a teach a man, teach a woman to fish adage, where we keep all of our resources there so communities can go access it themselves and share it and disseminate it throughout the network. Contact logs are there, so every member can get in touch with any other member. We really try to have that be a transparent, tool for communities.
So if I could just add too, you mentioned forestry folks working with the legacy communities. Another really cool thing that we've seen kind of happen just as part of Green Tier participation is we have another charter called Wisconsin Urban Wood, where they source urban wood through a sustainable chain of custody to its end user. And one thing that we've seen happen out in Eau Claire and in other legacy communities kind of organically is that Wisconsin Urban Wood likes to work with legacy communities, and they really like to source their logs from sustainable-minded communities, and it's been working out really well for them. So
Yeah.
it's it's a pretty cool benefit as far as how that happens naturally.
Absolutely. Next slide, please. I think there's another. So the costs, it's free. And this is always like we're selling our snake poison across the state, but it really is free.
We don't
It's
charge them?
No, it is a voluntary, all you have to do is listen to our spiel, and then you're off the hook. That's the only cost. But it's free, and then the only real requirements is commitment. We ask all of our members, show up, be engaged. Legacy community participation truly is you get out what you put in. So we have some members who are very engaged and really taking advantage and leading the way on sustainability across the state. Others are less active. However, you do have to annually report. That is a no, that kind of is the real requirement. But that goes hand in hand with the baseline assessment you all have. So we try to have our annual reporting mirror this ever-evolving list of best management practices we provide. Next slide, please. So what a community's signing on to is, again, developing kind of a sustainability goal, developing metrics, and then reporting out year to year. And a lot of communities are already doing these things. What, again, we try to do is provide that structure and framework for you to seamlessly report out. You have all this data, but what are you doing with it? So when we have communities share it and report on it, it, again, really provides value and lets you show your community, show your mayor, your city administrator, look, there is a business case for sustainability, and this is it. And oftentimes we find sustainability initiatives, fund a sustainability coordinator, and then the work that sustainability coordinator does is able to fund 3 more positions or something just with the ROI, the return on investment. Next slide, please. So this is the website I mentioned. This is the greenchaircommunities.org site. We also have a DNR housed site with annual reports and such. The Thousand Friends site, and this is kind of that's the member access snippets there. But please check it out. Each legacy community as well has their own website where their information is shared. We try to keep it up to date. Going back to that fundability thing, we try to keep this website really up to date, new. We love sharing successes from other communities, and we have a scrolling tab now where we have different events and opportunities that are populated there, and it makes us more fundable. It shows that we're engaged, it shows that we're active. One of the scrolling sites will be your own Julia here for a November 15th webinar, which, next slide. So that's the score sheet as we mentioned. This is the best management practices. The score sheet also, next slide, kind of drives our task forces. So based off of this score sheet, we have land use, energy use, wastewater, healthy community planning. So that kind of, the score sheet really serves as the backbone for us to then delve into these other topics like energy, like healthy community planning. This is an example of a project we worked on, working with municipalities and working with their utility providers directly to get their utility release forms and actually use Energy Star Portfolio Manager to benchmark and track municipal facilities, county facilities, and we got in-kind services through the Office of Energy Innovation to have energy engineers actually populate this for communities and keep it up to date. So that was a huge win for us. We were very proud of the work we did with that energy task force. Next slide. And only more proud is the work we've done with PACE. So this is property assessed clean energy financing. This was a direct result of our energy task force's efforts working with WEC and the Wisconsin Counties Association. They were able to launch the Wisconsin PACE Commission. PACE legislation has been in Wisconsin for about 10 years. It's been used a little bit in Milwaukee, but it mostly sat dormant for a long time because you really needed kind of the county and the city to be on the same page. We adopted joint powers authorities, and we've worked to kind of be the third-party administrator of these. And so PACE really is, as I said, property assessed clean energy financing. It's really a gap financing mechanism for sustainable infrastructure. So if you're looking at private developments, we found hospitality services, hotels are taking advantage of this a lot now. 10 projects across the state have been launched just in the past year and a half. It's a great way to put that upfront investment in towards sustainability, towards photovoltaics, towards better windows, towards HVAC upgrades. And it's something that we're extremely proud of. Next slide, you can see kind of, this is out of date now. We have 36 counties that have adopted the PACE resolution and are in the Wisconsin PACE Commission. So this project has been literally on the engine of John Hokumer's Plymouth minivan. Him and Jason Stringer have driven hundreds of thousands of miles across the state, meeting with all 72 counties to really spread the word on this, because it's another one of those, it sounds too good to be true, but really it's just a matter of connecting the right ideas to the right people. and it's something that we're extremely proud of. Next slide, please. These are the partners with PACE as well. We've had Von Briesen provided some legal expertise pro bono, and all of these partners have been just tremendous to work with. There's also local lenders, and we really try to promote local lenders, being that grant administrator as well, to keep the money local and really have that investment be in Wisconsin, from Wisconsin communities, from public-private partnerships. So, next slide, please. This is another one, our Healthy Community Task Force. Based off of the score sheet, we launched Healthy Community Planning, and this is addressing health in all policies. We received a 5-year, $1 million grant to work on upstream thinking, health in all policies. How can you incorporate healthy community planning into your comprehensive plan? What's that look like? It looks different in each community, we found out. We're in the first year of 5 years, and so we've been meeting with communities. There's 10 communities participating actively in this. And it could be public housing, it could be economic development, transportation, safe ways to school, things like that. So this is something we're very excited about, and we hope to have replicable models from this work that we can then share with all of our members. And it's not too late to be involved still yet in this program. Next slide. I think we're just right here. This is kind of where we're at, still designing and implementing our projects, but it's been an exciting thing, and that has been led by COWS. The Center on Wisconsin Strategy has been the partner that's led that, and 1,000 Friends has provided support as well, meeting with our municipalities. Next slide, please. And then, so here's just a list of our partners on this. And again, what this really highlights is that we have an ability with this network to connect. The strength of our network is our network. We cast a wide net, and this grant is just a great example of our fundability moving forward, and we're hoping to become even more fundable as we continue to tout these kind of successes. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, another service that we do through Legacy Communities is we host Sustainable Strategies webinar series. These are free monthly webinars produced by Weston and I, and they are intended for municipal and county professionals. So we do once a month, and sustainability topics range month to month. We are ecstatic to have Julia here for November 15th. We encourage you all to tune in. So we will, these are just another thing that we try to provide for our members. They're open beyond our members as well, but a lot of Legacy Communities are the case studies to provide the technical expertise. The folks are saying, who's doing really cool things, X, Y, and Z in this community, and you should share their story. All webinars are recorded as well. I think we told you that. So they're all recorded and available on our website as well, and we're really proud of the catalog we're building of experts in their field sharing their work, and so that's something that is a benefit and something that we really enjoy doing and find that our members enjoy and tune in. And if you can't tune in day of, like I said, they're available anytime. So that's another.
We do have another one coming up that we're pretty excited about. It's with an international flavor from Freiburg, Mikhail Onstedt. We don't have a date nailed down just yet, but he's looking at talking about urban ecology and how that can be implemented in the U.S. In similar ways that it's implemented in Freiburg. So really excited about that, and we'll get out some materials once we get that rolling.
And there will be a time difference for that one.
Yeah, so that one, it's a little 7 hours, so it'll be earlier in the morning.
That might be an 8, 9 a.m. webinar. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So absolutely excited about it. Check it out on the website in the library.
And thank you again, Julia, for being willing to present this month.
Yeah,
Looking
my
forward to
pleasure.
it. UWC grant, it's going to be building resilient communities one code at a time. Looking
It's
forward
about
to it.
green infrastructure and barriers to green infrastructure in codes and ordinances.
Tune in.
Absolutely.
Next slide, please.
Can you send out that?
So really, in wrapping and getting to kind
Can
of...
people not in the network watch your webinars?
No, they can. They're open to the public.
Public, yep.
Yep, we do it, we try, every member receives emails, we promote them to our members, but it's on the website, you can register online, open to the public. We love getting, seeing communities who aren't in Legacy Communities joining us. That means we've done our job, and we're excited about that. Just another tool, another resource that we hope to provide. And the members do, again, like I said, they produce these, they're the talent, so it's really been, it's a treat to work on that.
And if you guys would like to be on, if you guys would like to be on the outreach, just let one of us know, and we can put your email address on to the list and have those sent out to you as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So kind of in closing, this was from the city of Eau Claire, Ned Noel is just an amazing city planner in Eau Claire. They're very lucky to have him. We're very lucky to have him. He sits on our executive committee. We do have opportunities for communities to sit on the executive committee as well, communities and county reps. So next slide, please. Ned sent this to me unprovoked. This is what Eau Claire's Chamber of Commerce did. They put together an award show for businesses, organizations, institutes in their community that are just doing cool things in sustainability. And they gave them all awards and kind of shared the work they're doing. And if you look closely, those awards are made, as aforementioned, of Wisconsin Urban Wood, which is another green tier charter, which is really an economic response to emerald ash borer. We have a gluttony of trees now that need to come down. It's not if, it's not when, it's here. And so in response to this, Wisconsin Urban Wood, next slide, has really exemplified the power of partnerships, and they work to connect directly with tree crews, public works, to skilled artisan woodworkers, kiln operators, and craftsmen across the state who then take this otherwise wood that will be chipped or mulched or, God forbid, put in a landfill, and create high-purpose wood value products with it. Weston and I were able to go to Eau Claire Woodworks, where this picture was taken this summer, and meet Tim Brudnicki. He makes guitars out of emerald ash trees and sells them off. Justin Vernon in Eau Claire actually signed some, and they auctioned them off for $20,000, which is like keeping that money in the local economy is just something amazing. And they also do, and for every dollar you keep in the local economy, it generates 4 more. So this business model is taken off across the state.
They even implemented about 20,000 board feet of lumber in the Bucks New Arena at the Fiserv Forum. So when our annual report comes out next week or the week after, check out our videos. We had the opportunity to get into the Fiserv Forum and talk with the people who are behind implementing that much urban wood into such a high profile location.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
So just another great example of what kind of flexibility charters provide, and then Wisconsin Urban Wood in particular is one that works directly with legacy communities, and so it connects these people, these ideas to York City communities and staff, and really, again, workload alleviator. They come pick up the trees from the lumber yards and take them away, or they'll be on site, right, as your tree crew's working on taking down an ash tree, they'll come and get it and square that away. Again, it's really just an inspiring charter. Next slide, please. So that in closing, Legacy Communities is really about just building a culture of sustainability across the state and connecting ideas to people, and providing a kind of a seamless mesh and a resource to communities and to committees and to inspired city planners or clerks or whomever it may be, to let them know you're not alone. There's a network of folks trying to tackle a lot of the same problems you're addressing, and that just by getting together and meeting and talking about it is oftentimes the hardest part. But we found a little niche to be able to facilitate some action and some initiatives, and we would be extremely proud to have your consideration to join the Legacy Communities Network. And we do feel no BS that it is a benefit to communities to take advantage of, and we've been seeing in the past 2 years a huge influx of communities wanting to take advantage of this, wanting to bring their strength and resources to the network and add on to it, and really be part of a growing initiative of kind of sustainable change and just of sound resource management. So that is Legacy Communities in a nutshell, and thank you again to the Green Bay Sustainability Commission for having us. We're proud of you guys for having one of these, and again, Weston did some great digging, and when he found out you guys had it, he was like, we need to be here. So
Got a number of emails.
Sorry about that.
No, that was fine. That was good.
Yeah.
But,
I was happy to hear from you.
that
Being
was-
thorough is not a weakness of his.
I just want to say I was really proud when I saw that Green Bay decided to form a sustainability commission. So it's been awesome, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you guys today. So.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we have cards and information as
Yep,
well.
some cards. Please feel free, if you know any small businesses as well that would be looking to take advantage of this program, have these on display so that somebody can take one and use it for their own advantage as well. So we'll leave those.
I'm the dealer.
May I ask a couple quick questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think the Green Tier program sounds fantastic, and I hope that eventually we do decide to join. I was curious, 2 questions. Why is Madison, Milwaukee not on the map yet? And why cities and counties but not school districts?
Yeah,
That might be the big-
great question. I would love to work with school districts, and we're hoping to formalize some things. There's an opportunity working with lead pipe replacement to work with schools. Those are non-regulated entities, and that's where the majority of our children spend the majority of their time. So that's something we're hoping to noodle on and get into. But just as of now, we haven't engaged with school districts, kind of the monster of that. However, and then speaking to Madison and Milwaukee, we find that communities like Milwaukee don't need us. You know, they have their own Office of Sustainability. Milwaukee has their own office, you know, of sustainable initiatives and such. They're doing great work. And so where we found our niche is working with these mid-major sized communities that are maybe understaffed or maybe not able to do all the things that the Madisons and Milwaukees are able to do. So we wanted to focus our efforts where they would yield the greatest results. I would love to work with Madison, Milwaukee. PACE, the PACE Commission does work with the Milwaukee's Office of Sustainability Initiatives and such, because Milwaukee's taken advantage of PACE legislation. So strategically thinking, that I believe is why we haven't yet, but we do work with Fitchburg, Monona, Middleton, and Sun Prairie, all surrounding Madison. Dane County is going to join the PACE Commission as well. So someday we do hope to get land the big birds, but we're very pleased with who we're working with right now. And again, seeing like the difference one good city planner can make in a community has been super inspiring, and that's kind of been where we've made our bread so far, but we are not opposed. And if you know anybody.
Well, thank you, and I think you could provide a lot of service, like the grant writing, which has come up from
Absolutely.
people in the community that'd like to see us work on that, so I think
Absolutely.
it's fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Are you getting any pushback at all about, I would think,
Yeah, no, so Green Tier has been very fortunate to, throughout the duration of our time, we've enjoyed bipartisan support. You know, Wisconsin's open for business, so we are a business supporting organization. We work with companies, we help them implement environmental management systems. It's really a tool for Wisconsin to tout to, you know, incoming businesses to say, hey, look, we provide support, we provide resources to you as well from the state. So that's done us a good amount of goodwill. And in terms of legacy communities, we really haven't received any pushback outside of one instance where there was, you know, thinking of there was, it got politicized about a road diet, but it had nothing to do with legacy communities. It was one of our NGO partners, their work in assessing a road diet that wasn't so favorable. But on the whole, no. I mean, it's really, like I said, it's a free, voluntary, non-regulatory program, and it truly is what you put in is what you get out. And so it's just kind of a tool that communities can take advantage of, and that we hope support their existing efforts, and we're not pushy as to what we're doing. We don't have an agenda of our own. We truly try to have all direction of the charter be steered by the city planners, the mayors, the folks who are attending these meetings and are saying, we hear them, and that guides our efforts. So we make that be our core value and our core kind of direction of work, and that has kind of kept us pretty unpoliticized, so to speak.
We, as the DNR, we are more so the facilitators of these things. This is where everything is housed, but like he said, the executive committee really takes it in the direction they want to. However, being housed at the DNR, it is important for us to still recognize environmental sustainability. So that's why some of those things on the score sheet are part of it. But I mean, if you're talking sustainability, you're talking environmental, economic, and social. So people, planet, profit. So.
cool, good.
Thank you.
Okay, good, the single place on file would be appropriate, since it's information.
Yeah, so do we motion to do that? Is there a motion to?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? There's a motion and a second. All those in favor of receiving and placing on file, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Thanks, received.
Thank you.
On file. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
All right, moving on to the next item. Oh,
Something you need, what?
Nope,
I
that's.
thought it was Adrian.
Oh, Anybody's pacemaker?
Thank you so much again
Thank
for
you.
having
Thanks
us.
again,
guys.
We'll be in touch. Take
Feel
care.
free to reach out with any questions.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And
All right, now moving on to item 2 under our informational section. Wanted to have an opportunity for everybody to report back on some of the feedback we've been getting. So in the last month or I guess 5 weeks, I hope we've all had a chance to talk to different folks in the community, formally and informally. So if we just want to go around and share any feedback we've gotten, we can do that at this moment. So does anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
And the-
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, so I just got started with this, and I sent out an email that asked what sustainability meant to them. I had the UN example, and then what would they like to see the Green Bay Sustainability Commission do? So I think I worded it in a way that got back a lot of information that didn't really fit nicely into that spreadsheet. But these answers are very heartfelt, very sincere, very concerned, and some really brought tears to my eyes. So I think it's a very powerful thing to involve the community in this question and what we can do to have their involvement as much as possible. I just felt it was the answers are very powerful. So I thought it would be cool if we all could have a chance maybe to read everybody's, so they wouldn't just get swept into a spreadsheet and filed, but we could actually spend time reading them, maybe together or take notes separately or something like that. So that's,
Was there any that really stuck out at you that you care to share right now?
yeah. One is a little bit long. This is, can I say names?
yes,
Names,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
It would, it's
Public.
a public record
All right.
now.
So this is from Charlie Frisk. And I won't read the whole thing, it's lengthy, but every single bit of it is so important. So one of the things he talked about was how many of us in the United States or in the world are choosing to live a certain way that is preventing future generations from enjoying what we're enjoying right now. Like to hear a loon at night, to be able to fish certain kinds of fish, hunt certain kinds of game, things like that are being lost slowly but surely, and that really hit home that, our lifestyle now is affecting the future of other people's lifestyles, our children and grandchildren. So that one was quite powerful. I couldn't actually read the whole thing right now. Here's one that hits homes, nicely read. Hello, friends. As a member of Green Bay's Sustainability Commission, on this commission we are, oops, that's fine, sorry. Okay. Oops. Okay. We would like to have our water and air clean and free from pollutants. We would like to see public green space kept up and not privatized. We are concerned about mega farms, so would like an economy that supports those who are interested in developing innovative, compassionate, intelligent farming techniques. And this is from Craig and Ruth Delfrit, a friend who's in Mexico now. This is very basic, but I think of when I think of sustainability, I think of it having enough affordable clean water for living life. Less plastic and more recycling is always neat to see. Being in Mexico, there's a fair amount of publicity about damaging plastic, how damaging it is to the sea turtles, noses, etc. Are there any initiatives about solar energy, wind energy, methane? Here in Mexico, there is a ton of sargasso seaweed that washes ashore. People have no idea what to do with it. It sits and rots, eventually dries out. It would be so cool if it could be turned into energy some way. And then, I'll just read one more. Advice for the committee. Get community input on decision-making, seek wisdom from a variety of partners, make a difference that is tangible, have a plan for communication with interested affected parties, work with partners who have similar interests for mutually beneficial goals, tap into and develop the community's talents, and steps can be small if they're fun, innovative, and capture the imagination of young and old alike. Hillary Raff, she's a teacher at Alda Leopold. That's all. I just think they're very special and heartfelt, and it was a great idea to elicit these opinions. One of our committee members.
Great. Should we just go around or anything? Yeah.
A few people had suggested the ports for electric cars. There's not many here in town. I think Billund has one, I think WPS, but I really don't know if
There aren't that many.
There ain't that many,
Yeah.
so. I got that from a few people. The recycling is a big thing too. They suggested, if we have those waste garbage cans to have, recycling alongside it. So those are just a couple of the topics that I got.
One person said they want lots of more fish. For fishing.
That's fishy.
I was like, there's a lot of fish right now, but whatever.
Not in a dead zone.
Bigger fish.
There could be more of some fish. Transportation definitely came up in a couple different conversations. I talked to one person who's a small business owner, and he found it difficult to implement sustainable practices because he's like to do those practices because they cost a lot for one person to do. So I think, so basically being maybe potentially supporting businesses to be able to do things. He was a hairstylist, so he couldn't find ways to recycle or deal with his products or whatever that was cost effective. And then also air quality. I mean, I don't know. Oh, that's a big public health issue, and we have a lot of industry here, and then we're also kind of like the tailpipe of Wisconsin and Chicago. I mean, really. So I think potentially there's some opportunities there, and then also we're just surrounded by a lot of agriculture, and there's a lot of opportunity for local. It's actually a really unique food opportunity. I mean, it's what's the Hinterland? So they have. I talked to their owner once, and their restaurant. They have a restaurant down in Milwaukee, but they said it's way more easier to source food, local farm to table food on this region because there's so much around here. So
That's good.
So I have the benefit of spending a lot of time on campus where there's a lot of like-minded individuals such as myself who will, hopefully I will be the pioneers towards sustainability in the future and pursue different roles within that aspect. What has really caught my attention is how interested especially my professors have become towards what I'm doing. So they'll pull me aside after class and they'll ask specifically, like, what direction are you guys going? Where do you think you want to take this? And for me, not only does it feel good for me that I even have the opportunity to sit at this table, but it's just, it's kind of nice to know that they're there to offer their advice if needed, and they have. So if you ever need any assistance, go ahead and ask. And I think that's a really great opportunity, not only for the commission, but just for one of our local establishments here in Green Bay. Because there's, especially on the environmental science side and the policy side, I mean, you have a lot of special minds in that institution.
Well, I started talking to a lot of my neighbors over the last last couple of months. And setting aside the discussion I always get about, hey, I do recycling, and so there's always a question. There's always a question. What do I do with it? Can I put this again? Can I put this in there? Why can't I recycle every plastic that's made? And so I devolved into that a lot. So there's a lot of there is a lot of interest from a lot of people about how we recycle in Green Bay and why can't we do more stuff. And basically I tell them, well, you can't recycle more stuff because I set the rules for the county, and it's like, oh, now I can hide my head. I wish I could. But interestingly enough, actually what came up in a couple of conversations was people's concern about stormwater management, and I think it was because of the flooding this year. And so I started hearing about that in terms of how does what we're doing in my neighborhood. I'm over by the stadium, the St. Agnes neighborhood. It's not that old a neighborhood, but we get flooding periodically in there, and people were concerned about, is the city doing more to mitigate the stormwater? Are we going to have more floods in the future? There's, based on what they've seen this past year, this past summer, and are we going to have to do more about that? And is my sump pump going to be adequate to keep water out of my basement or my backyard? So there were a number of conversations with a couple of my neighbors and friends. I also live in an area it's really, Celestine knows my neighborhood really well too. On my block, we now have 4 families with kids, little kids, and my next door neighbor just moved out of her house. She was 90, and it's a family now next door. So my neighborhood is turning over, and so several of my neighbors have little kids to preteen, and they're concerned about what the future's going to be like for their kids, and whether they like our neighborhood because it's walkable. We have sidewalks everywhere. I'm a block from a bus line. We're several blocks from schools. We're walking distance to churches. Come through my neighborhood, and there are people walking all night. Not all night, but at nighttime during the day.
Zombies.
Yes, nonetheless. So it's a very walkable neighborhood, and they like that, and they see what you go just a little bit south of me, and you're in Ashwaubenon, and Ashwaubenon doesn't want sidewalks when they build neighborhoods, and so I've heard about that from the standpoint of having a nice neighborhood for families and kids to grow up in. Is that something that's a priority for the area as Green Bay develops, and are we going to see more of that? And then I have 2 neighbors within a block or so of me. One's a longtime friend, and one I just met. Both have solar panels on their houses. One built his own. For lack of a better term, it's a monstrosity, but it's kind of like a pole building out of wood that supports solar panels. So they are very interested about that. And is the city going to be looking at incentives for additional solar work, or is that something that energy self-sustainability in energy, is that something that there's going to be a focus on? Is that something we're going to continue to talk about? They want to know more about that. So my neighborhood is getting to be a real mix of I've got several neighbors who are retired and several neighbors who are starting families. So it's a real nice mix of age groups, and so I'm hearing a lot of different things. Lots of questions out there. I tried not to provide the answer.
I've heard from a few different people, there's a few things. One is leaves. And I've actually been getting some complaints about neighbors who are raking their leaves and blowing their leaves into the street, which we haven't set an ordinance on that. So I have talked to Director Grenier about that, and there is a movement afoot within the department to take a more firm stance on that. In the past, they just kind of directed, tried to educate people, but it seems like they're the same ones are doing it over and over and over. So we're going to maybe come up with some.
Is there leaf collection?
There's leaf collection, but people still.
Just yeah, they've done a lot of research in Madison actually about leaf collection programs and how to make them work in terms of behavior change. So.
Oh.
And providing people with bags and the exact date of when the leaves are going to get picked up helps a lot.
Well, that's
But that's
something
we could look into. They've done a lot of work on that.
Yeah. But I was just happy that there were so many people in the community actually concerned about it.
I think
this
that's
is the
great.
first, this is the first time I've ever had somebody complain about their neighbor putting leaves.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, me too.
Putting leaves into the curb. Like summertime it's grass, and wintertime or it's fall it's leaves.
Yeah. So, someone reached out to me.
Sorry, what are people supposed to do if there's leaf pickup?
Just leave it on the terrace. Don't not into the curb.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a stormwater issue.
Yes.
It's totally, I think it's really interesting. That's good, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and that's also not only messes up our sewers, but also then pollutes the bay and the river and Bay Beach. I keep
That's
reading
actually
that.
why that's like the main reason you have a leaf collection program is
Yeah.
the stormwater permit for pollution.
Leave the leaves at
Also,
the curb.
It increases blockage, because the water can't.
Blocks them.
One woman reached out to me, she's a herbalist, and she's having some issues with zoning with the city, and she'd like to see us maybe work towards green zones. I shared that with her chair, he'll be bringing that up later on, I'm assuming, and she'll be involved, and actually I just sent that to Ken, so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what did green?
Green zones, it'd be an area of the city that's zoned where you'd be able to grow more things in your yard. You might even have goats or something, or I mean, there are different kinds of green zones, but it's more of urban,
We're talking about like urban farming?
kind
stuff?
of,
Urban
but not,
ag?
urban, but not a mini idea of that.
Yeah, a lot of my,
It's a zoning issue, yeah. We'd have to zone for that.
A lot
We'd have to
of circles
establish
on
what
it,
we
which
want
like
allowed and how it has to be done. And then I had someone reach out to me who was interested in doing solar with schools and getting grants and stuff. So I told him he should definitely, actually I didn't get a chance to talk to him, he left me a message and I contacted him and we were playing phone tag and so on, but I said, by all means, put something together here and send it and we can definitely follow up on that, so.
Great. Over the last month, but even prior to that, as we're building support to get this commission started, I've met with folks from the Joshua Environmental Task Force, folks from the Brown County Conservation Alliance, Wisconsin League of Conservation Voters members, and a lot of the feedback has been very similar. I guess there has been through all three of those groups, very universal support for renewable energy. I think that lots of folks throughout the community and throughout the state have really been turning to embrace that. A group, and I need to get permission if I can share it publicly, but there's some polling done in Brown County that suggested that renewable energy isn't as much of a political divisive issue anymore, and there was, I guess, support for that on both sides of the political spectrum, which was really promising. But a lot of folks were really concerned about that issue. I think that just a few weeks ago when the Intergovernmental Climate Panel came out with the article that said that 2040 is kind of the cutoff date, I felt a big surge in urgency. Canvassing during my day job, folks would be bringing it up at the doors. Our members are bringing it up. Folks in these organizations are bringing it up that we need to have a very rapid shift to renewable energy because the science suggests that in a very short amount of time, it will be too late to mitigate the worst things with climate change. So that's been a big response point. I think that, like you said, folks very recently, after all the flooding, have been really concerned about water infrastructure issues. I attended, there was a NeighborWorks forum at a few weeks ago on water infrastructure, and most of the meeting kind of took a different shift and focused on a different issue, but they kind of had like a audience round the horn thing where they talked about their concerns, and there's a lot of different concerns with flooding and stormwater management, and there seemed to be a lot of support for green infrastructure and better stormwater management, so that was very interesting. Yeah, those are the big things. I think that more transportation access, bike lanes, things like that, clean buses have been things that have come up. I also got the chance to meet with Dan Thino, the head of the Neighborhood Association Leadership Council, and we didn't really discuss any issues specifically, but just generally he was very excited to have the Neighborhood Association Leadership Council offer some feedback. So he invited us to go speak at they'd meet every 2 months, either their December or February meeting, and really was excited about bringing in neighborhood associations to whatever projects we do. Beyond that, I think that yeah, there's a lot of potential. I had been in contact with somebody from the Midwest Renewable Energy Association that was excited to talk about how we could work together in the future. So that's a meeting that I have tentatively set for sometime later in November. And then I had also reached out to the chair of the Madison Sustainability Committee to talk about some of their best practices and issues. So that's another meeting that is tentatively scheduled, but lots of good support all around, so. Yeah.
So with sustainability being more bipartisan, what about windmills?
I think around here, that still seems to be a sticky wicket,
Okay.
but.
I thought that hadn't been
Yeah.
resolved too much, but maybe I missed something, so I was hoping.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
well-
very general.
You know, what about urban wind generation? I mean, rooftop generation that you don't, you know, the windmills that are actually horizontal instead of vertical. and-
Like at East Town Mall?
No, actually, there's.
Those are vertical.
Those are vertical. These are actually windmills that sit, they kind of like on industrial buildings, you see those kind of gray
Oh,
round things.
yeah.
But these are actually, there are different designs that are actually, they lie flat, but
Oh.
enough of the vane sticks up above the roof to catch the wind as it comes along, so that they're spinning this way
Uh-huh.
on top of the roof, and they're very cool. It's been a while since I've seen any additional designs on that, but I know they were first on the market, even as much as 10 years ago when I was.
What's the cost on something like that? Is it-
I have no idea.
Well, okay, I mean, not dollar amount, but is it kind of high, do you think, or?
No, that actually, they seem to be less expensive, because it doesn't require a post. You know, you're not sitting something up into the air, you're actually capturing wind that would go across the rooftop. And so the structure is basically on the roof itself. You know, the ones I saw were primarily aimed, I think it was City of Milwaukee that did it. I saw it. It was at a conference down there several years ago, and they were talking about those. They're talking about alternative ways of generating wind energy. And that was one of the ones, especially for an urban area, because of, specifically in this case, they're talking about large, tall buildings that you can put them on the top and they'll actually catch the wind. But then there was some further discussion about whether or not you could do it on residential and how, and it's a lot, the profile is so much lower that it seemed to make a lot of sense, but I don't know how that's going. I haven't had a chance to follow up on that, which is something
That'd be cool.
that came up.
Blows me over.
It's well played.
You can see it's going to be a long night.
All right, any other feedback that folks would like to share before we move on to regular business? All right, well,
The
let's.
appropriate motions to receive and place on file.
Motion to receive and place on file.
So moved. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, that's been received and placed on file.
You ready for tomorrow?
Tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Oh, the banquet?
Yeah,
Yeah, now I'm ready.
I'm bringing my rotten tomatoes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, there's a no money back guarantee for those
And
tickets, you know?
before we move on, if you have anything written, please email it to me. I'm not sure about how to quite include it, but at least set it aside we have a binder for this committee. So just give it to me,
Do we have
send
like
it to me.
A digital, like Dropbox or anything too, that we can?
No,
No.
no. No.
Okay.
Anything
Dropbox,
written as
yeah,
far as
just email
this-
it to me, just forward that to me.
Okay.
Yes.
All this, okay.
Yeah, as an email. Yeah, Dropbox gets a little tough because of open meetings. So, giving me information is fine, and then I can accumulate it and put it where it needs to go. But everyone sort of collaborating on a document outside of the boundaries of the meeting gets to be difficult because it's not because then you're creating an open meeting where there isn't one. Sharing information like, hey, read this article, that's fine. But like, here's the comments that you had gathered, can you comment on the comments? That's not. Okay, ready?
Great, yeah. Moving on to regular business. First item there is discussion with possible action on the communication from Alderman Galvin on developing a plan for Green Bay to offset our total municipal energy use through the use of renewable energy installations on city property, including buildings, streetlights, transportation, and other areas. Do we have any discussion on that? Is that all of the text that was in the communication?
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I know that you're working on the Green Tier Legacy.
Mhm.
There are also some other things that departments have already done. And I'm not sure how he had been wanting the Sustainability Commission to address this since he
I've been,
figured out that we were gonna have one, so,
I told him to hang on, but
Yeah.
right.
he couldn't wait any longer.
No.
That's no
So,
problem, yeah.
there are several things that I mean, I don't think that we're prepared to answer this question tonight.
Flip the
So there are
switch.
several things
Done.
that you can do. You can refer it to staff, so I can figure out what we're already doing to answer part of this question.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
I thought we did great.
And then, once I can give you a report back, then you can decide how these concepts fit into other actions you would take if you were, for instance, to adopt the Green Tier Legacy Community Framework.
Okay.
So, that would be my recommendation.
Motion to refer to staff.
There's a motion to refer to staff. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any
Third
discussion before a vote? All right, all those in favor signify by saying.
Sorry, it's been very slow.
I need to consider my vote.
And who seconded the motion?
I did.
Okay, awesome. You know I need a mouse too, which is ridiculous. Okay, now you may vote.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
What shall we refer to staff as?
And that motion passes.
Okay, so say that again, Mark?
Nothing.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the next item then on the agenda. Discussion and possible action on whether or not to recommend the city to join the Green Tier Legacy Community Program. Do we have any discussion following our presentation on that?
Well, what would be the downside? I'm trying to figure out a downside, and I can't think of one. Anybody can think of a downside?
I thought it sounded great.
I thought it was great.
I thought that he did a great job. with the
Made me
spiel.
green with envy.
Yeah, I've gotten the chance to talk to folks in other communities that are a part of it, and I think to answer that question, I don't think there is a downside. Mayor Wiesa of Stevens Point had nothing but good things to say about it. My colleagues in Eau Claire are really supportive of it. And a lot of our questions moving forward kind of go back to where we are right now, and I think the first thing we do in this program would be to get a very clear sense of what we're doing and what we're not. So I'd be all in favor of doing this.
I was glad Ned asked about why Madison and Milwaukee, and I
Yeah.
thought the answer was actually perfect.
Mhm.
Because it makes so much sense that they can just provide the assistance to, cities that don't
Oh.
have, they don't have the capacity and staff to do these things. So I thought that was great, so.
Yeah. And if we join, we'll be the biggest city then.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
The only thing I could think of is we should, as a commission, kind of commit then that we will be engaged.
Yeah.
Do we,
And so we
does that have
may,
to go to the council?
Mhm.
There's a resolution that's required to.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we would need.
That's the first step, right?
Yeah, the motion to move forward on this would be to create an ad hoc working committee
Mhm.
to develop a resolution to then send it to the city
Council.
City council.
Well, the city attorney would look at it,
this-
and then, right.
Okay, so city attorneys and then city council,
Correct.
and then they would vote on it.
Mhm.
And we could probably get that before them by the December meeting?
There's a December 4th
A
meeting.
December 4th meeting.
Mhm.
So if that motion were to be made, we would pick 2 or 3 folks to put together a resolution, and they did, I think it's this last page here, they do have a sample resolution,
Yeah.
so it's fairly boilerplate. I mean, we wouldn't have to do too much reinventing of the wheel, but we would just have to personalize it.
Could,
I want
that
to do a
working
completely
group-
new one.
Could that working group maybe bring it back to here first before, for any comments?
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
review?
totally.
Yeah, for the next meeting in November, no,
December.
December. Well, then we wouldn't get it, yeah, we could get it to council and,
January 15th.
January. Because I think, when's our December
appropriate
meeting is like,
amount of time?
is after city council, is the next meeting after city council? Next meeting of this commission after?
So we have to talk about that later, but
Yep.
the next meeting is actually scheduled, of course, I don't have time.
yeah. Well, I'm hoping we can change it anyway.
Yeah, you said that last time. Like,
Yeah.
First
did you-
Thursday,
did
so
you
the
not?
first Thursday
Is the 6th.
is the 6th, and that does occur after
City
the
Hall.
4th. The following meeting is January.
And their meetings, did you say are Monday night?
No, the
No.
city
No.
council meets
Tuesday.
Tuesday, the first and third Tuesday, except for there's election, so
Okay.
there's a couple elections coming up, and it's the Monday
Is this
instead of the
something
Tuesday.
we can pull together fast, or do we need to wait till January 15th?
We might be able to squeeze it in.
Does it take, I mean, beyond us saying, yeah, let's go forward with this as it stands, with this template and forward it to the ad hoc committee? I mean, is there a process that this committee has to review? This commission has to review the ad hoc committee's work before it goes to city council?
So that's not a completely necessary process if
Okay.
you want to empower the ad hoc committee, but it does make sense since you're all getting started to bring it back. You can call a special meeting of the Sustainability Commission. I'm not here for Thanksgiving, so you can call it a special meeting to, so you can send out the document in a special meeting, create an agenda. There would be a one-item agenda to go over the correct. You give your comments, then I can roll that all up, give it to the city attorney's office, they can put their imprimatur on it, and then it would have to be, we would have to have it completed. Let me just give it to you, all the info. Give me 1 second, sorry. So, everything would have to be all wrapped up with a bow by November 29th in order to go to the December 4th council meeting.
But there's also the one on the 15th too,
Yes,
council.
yes.
You said January 15th?
No.
January 15th.
Oh, yeah, January.
There is no
15th.
December,
Right,
second
because of
December
the,
meeting.
yeah.
Well, how do folks feel? Would we like to, for sure, have the commission look back at this?
I personally don't mind coming to a special meeting, but I don't think I'm gonna be much help developing anything, so I think for me, it depends on if there's someone to lead and make it happen, but I'd be happy to come for a special meeting before.
Same. And actually, this is a great template, but I found a few of the other community templates through research as well. Like I found Stephen Point, their resolution that they drafted for it, and it's a little bit different format.
You sound like you should be on board with that committee.
There you go, Chase.
What did I just do?
I don't know, but I like it.
Some good research.
So let's have a motion about this resolution, just to make me, put something down here that makes sense for all of you.
Okay. All right.
Well, the motion would be
Do we,
to recommend joining the Green Tier community and develop a resolution.
By creating an ad hoc working committee. All right, that's the resolution. And then from there, should we pass that and then create the working?
Yes, that
Two
would be
separate
fine.
resolutions.
So there needs to be a second.
Okay.
All right, there's a
So
motion
then-
on the table. Is there a
Motion.
Second.
I second that.
And there's a
Okay.
second. Any discussion?
Wait, hold on.
Any discussion? Hear any good jokes lately? No,
No.
never mind with
No,
John.
no, never a good one.
All right.
Can we vote?
all
You want a
those-
bad one?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. Now I think an appropriate motion would be to create that work group, so two to three people. We have one volunteer.
Okay, I have a question. I would volunteer But there's something in my head about Monday. Did he say the meetings, they wanted involvement? One of the things we had to do was be involved and attend meetings. Didn't he say Mondays?
He said the fifth Monday seems to work for like a big meeting.
Group one.
Yes, that's just a couple
The
times a year.
annual, yeah.
That-
Oh,
It's once a
yeah.
year.
The thing they have like in Stevens.
Yes,
Yeah,
so that meeting
that's a
with
separate-
the little photobomb girl, I
Yeah.
think that was the fifth
So that's
Monday.
just
Yeah.
minor.
That was
Yeah,
It's just
actually,
once a year.
Yeah, that doesn't
Okay.
occur, right, because it's
It's
the
not
fifth
like a
Monday.
month.
The day
No, no,
of
no.
the picture was
Right.
something.
Okay.
Yeah, but they do have like events and stuff around that they'd like
Yeah.
us to participate in some of those.
Okay, I just can't on Mondays, so that's my.
Well, yeah, they're gonna be all different.
Okay. So I would be willing to step in. I don't have any experience with this, but I do have time.
Okay. Chase?
I have lots
Okay.
of time, or lots of experience, but not a lot of time.
Right.
I mean,
Come on.
yeah.
So if it were to be Deb, Chase, and Seth,
Mhm.
there could be one more person, because you can't have a majority. Right,
Yeah, I have had experience doing this, so I would be willing.
okay. Mark, do you want to do it? You're short on time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that's fine. Deb, Chase, and Seth,
Great.
okay?
Thank
Let the
you.
young
All right,
ones do it.
we've got, I guess, a motion to approve packaged appointees. Do we-
Well, are you sure this needs to come back to the committee, to the commission?
I don't know, it'd be nice to look at I think it's important for us to all look at it, don't you think?
What if
But
we got
the
an
ad hoc
email?
committee-
What if we got an email with it and then
Like,
sent
that's
our,
fine, I don't.
our voice that way?
Yeah, is
So we're
there some
not-
informal way to just give feedback?
I just
Ad hoc
don't want it to
committee?
wait till 2019. I mean, I think this is something that we should,
Email doesn't really work.
Email doesn't work, okay.
no.
No.
So but you said we just hold a special commission
Right.
meeting with,
As long
and
as
we
five
get,
people
and we
come.
get it in the meeting packet and see it
Yes.
for him, but that all has to happen before the 29th.
Correct.
Yeah.
That meeting has to happen before the Monday.
Correct.
I trust you.
Yeah, my personal opinion also is that the resolution is to become a green tier legacy community, so it's not really gonna set much more. I mean, maybe I'm making certain assumptions that you're gonna use some aspects of this template and say, these are what we wanna work on, but essentially it's to join the legacy communities.
It is, and the
Mhm.
template has to be, it has to reflect what we want and to communicate what we want to the council, so they can say yes to it.
And the resolution has, the template that's an example here, lists the goals of, which are basically, that's the legacy community goals, those, so they're there already. We're saying, yes, we're gonna be a legacy community, those are some of the goals that we're gonna do. Doesn't mean we're limited to those goals.
No,
We can do other goals as well.
no, we're not
So,
limited, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would be all for us empowering your committee, the ad hoc committee to forward this to city council, to city attorney. and then-
Ad hoc can hop it over.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think if there's any feedback prior to putting it together, that would be appropriate to send to any of us three, so we can make sure that's included if we aren't going to be.
That, yep, as long as it's one.
I mean, I
one.
can read this, I mean, it mirrors a lot of what we've already talked
Yeah.
about.
So do I hear an amendment to the motion to create the ad hoc committee to also empower the committee?
And do we want to set a draft deadline?
I think it would have to be that 29th would be the very, very final
Oh, yeah.
buzzer. Yeah,
28th.
but we should do 28th.
Because if
We
they
should
had,
do it
the
as
city
much as
attorney
we
has to
can.
look at it and has to record it
Okay.
and,
Formalize the language of the
yeah, I mean,
cities.
and I'm not
Well,
even
their
sure if
agenda,
we've got like
they all
the
got it.
30 days, like I'm not very well versed in
Yeah.
notice parameters, because there's numbers, sometimes depending, there's numbers of days you have to publish in the newspaper, and I don't know that. So, as soon as possible,
Yeah.
essentially,
Next
if you want it for the
Yeah,
December
can we
4th
connect
council
like
meeting.
late next week?
Yeah,
Do we
after
need,
the
do we
election.
need to, we can set our meeting time
You can,
offline.
Right, yep.
Right.
We
And
do that ad hoc.
Cool, we'll do that.
So, to add on to, motion to create ad hoc committee with Deb Hutchison, Chase Highland, and Seth Hoffmeister, and empower the ad hoc committee to create the draft.
Great. All right, so that's the motion.
Submitted to- Okay, motion, who's gonna move it? That's the motion, who's going to,
I make the motion.
okay?
Randy, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Deb. All right, a discussion prior to voting?
So, help me understand, to give you input before you start doing this, what are the ways we can do that?
So the best
You
way.
can send an email to,
The best way to do that is to send an individual email to either Seth or myself.
Okay.
And in that way, you are providing your comments without it creating a problem.
Without creating a quorum of some kind.
Yes.
Great.
Okay?
If you
All right.
CC the rest of us, then we're,
Then
it's
that's
a
a
walking quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
In trouble.
All right.
Okay.
All those in favor? signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, motion passes.
Okay.
All right, so let's just connect after the meeting on a meeting time. On to item 3, discussion with possible action on stakeholder meetings and survey questions. So we had talked a little bit about formalizing our outreach strategy, coming up with a list of questions for these various stakeholders in the community. Is there any discussion or next steps and thoughts on that at this time? I didn't do my
I have
homework so much on this one.
Go ahead.
Sorry, who are the stakeholders?
That's for you to
That's what we
identify.
want to, yeah. So who are the different folks that are going to be most affected by our decisions that we want to make sure we're deliberately bringing into this process?
I feel like because I looked over this earlier and I thought a couple things, like for that, to answer what you just proposed, is I think we need to have more of a framework fleshed out around some stuff first. I think, and then also, not just the community members, but some kind of thought about talking to the folks that within the municipality who are directly involved in implementing anything and figuring out what's going on at first, and then also what challenges they have already. So that's where I was at. So I just didn't feel like we were quite far enough along to the point where wouldn't know what we would be asking quite yet.
Do we feel that if city council does approve the green tier involvement, that some of the baseline questions that are outlined here would set us up a little bit better for that? Or maybe a mix?
It's outlined here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we have to do an assessment, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of it is, when I looked through, I really like this, like just having assessment, the program kind of gives you just a framework to start off on and help you get your bearings,
Yeah.
which I thought too, so, yeah. I guess that's my thoughts is wait till we get a little farther down the line on scope and stuff, our whole directions out.
Yeah, and I also I guess I'd like to hear from Stephanie Tees too, because she really had a strong, at our first meeting, a strong sense of that she wanted to bring in more people from the community and doing something like this. And I tend to agree with Julia as well that this is a good framework. It's not the whole thing. It gives us a good starting point for some of the questions, but are we missing something else there? So I'd like to have the whole plan, the whole commission weighing in on this. And because I don't know who our stakeholders are either. It depends on what aspect you're talking about.
Well, then you brought up just, you were gonna potentially go talk with the neighborhood associations. I mean, just maybe even starting a list of local groups
Yep.
that we should be making sure we're networked with
Yeah.
in the future to do this kind of things.
that's why I want to change the date. The
Okay.
date we meet, they meet every other month,
Oh, that's
but
tonight?
it's tonight.
Oh.
But except for they met last month, so it'd be next month.
Next December,
Okay,
in
so you would
February.
like to go to that?
Yes, I've gone from my whole tenure, and it's really a good thing for me to go to, connect with those. Because there's so many neighborhood associations,
Like
I'm very
42 or
supportive of them,
something.
and yeah, so it's much easier to just get them when they're all together than to try to get to every meeting. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and Dan really wanted us at some point to go present to them, or solicit feedback from them.
yeah.
I mean, do we have any stakeholders we want to identify right now moving forward, or do we want to kind of hold off on this one?
Maybe starting a list
Mhm.
of ones we already know,
Mhm.
or that people are starting to talk to, kind of.
Mhm.
Is that something where we could, again, send, here's a group I think should be,
Yeah.
is a stakeholder in what we're talking about, and
Mhm.
what aspect of it,
Mhm.
send you that
Yeah.
comment or send Celestine.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah, and I think that's just a best practice to always be doing. That doesn't need to be something that we do from November to December. I think
Because
that's-
there could be new groups.
Yep,
Mhm.
I think that should just be part of our mindset going forward.
So I guess I'll make a motion then to table this till a further
Yeah.
time slot and start building a list of people we're networked with, sending them this out.
Yeah.
Is there a date we want to put on that? Usually when you table, there's a date, usually.
So if I use different language, would that matter?
Maybe.
No, hold
Is the
on.
date, the word table?
No, it's the same. You
implicit,
could
or
table
just-
to a date certain, or you can
Or-
table to infinitely.
We could do more,
Or
yeah.
you can table to a condition. So we'll table this until we have,
Further information?
right,
Or
until
About-
Can the action actually be to start compiling a list of stakeholders?
we
Yeah.
could do that.
That would be the action to begin with.
Yes.
So then we don't have to.
So we don't have to
Yeah.
table it.
Right.
If it's
Okay,
not
hold on.
going.
Then we're taking some action on it, yeah.
Mhm.
Hold on, hold on.
Who's going to make that motion?
I'll make
All right.
Wait.
what motion?
Local motion. You remember that song?
The oldies channel?
Yes. Indeed. Both of them.
Okay, now, who is making that motion? Okay.
And is there a second?
Second.
Second by Deb. Any discussion?
Okay.
All those in favor? say
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, and on to the last item of regular business, discussion with possible action on changing the regular meeting date. Do you want to kick things off, Randy?
Well,
Give us a teaser.
yeah. I think Thursday was the day everybody was most available, correct? I mean, Wednesdays
That was
doesn't work.
not my
or-
choice, though. I'm okay moving it.
Oh. Would-
So,
would-
let me just offer that it can be the first or third Thursday, or the second or fourth Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay, the third Thursdays are just, aren't they like always, there's always gonna be holidays and things that just seem to, those don't ever, like the weekends never, or, I don't know.
First or third Thursday or the second, and what were the Mondays?
So first or third Thursday, second or fourth Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wednesday's really good for me. I don't know how that sits with anybody else.
I can be pretty flexible.
can do Wednesday.
I'm thinking, I've got my phone, so I don't have my calendar. I think it
Because
should work.
there's no other committee meetings or anything from the city
Well,
on Wednesdays.
unfortunately, so there's supposed to be INS and Parks on Wednesday.
Well,
You're not on those.
I'm not on those.
So, sorry, so what were our choices for Wednesday?
The second or fourth. And then the reason why it's that way is because it needs to get into the council agenda. And if it's the first or third Wednesday,
They won't make it.
yeah.
I don't know how traffic commission gets away with, I mean, because they're always meeting just before. It always
They
goes-
report out the next meeting.
Yeah, that seems,
Because the agenda's already done, so.
I would be good with second Wednesday, no problem.
I think the second Wednesday for me.
Okay.
I can do that.
Will that work?
I can do it for a nickel.
I can't do that, sorry, that would be private.
So we're doing second.
You're getting paid.
So the second Wednesday of the month, beginning in December.
Beginning of December, great, perfect.
Okay, hold on.
December 6th.
Next Wednesday, I'm gonna
And
not
then,
do
who is
anything.
making that motion?
So, what day exactly is that, the second?
December 12th.
12th.
That would be the
Seems good.
second
Yeah.
Wednesday of December. I can do that.
Okay.
I will make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
By
Here,
Mark,
second.
and seconded by Randy. 1 second.
Second Wednesday, starting
In December.
December.
All right.
At the same time.
At the same time?
Yeah, same
fine.
time, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
5 o'clock?
And it'll most likely be in here,
Yep.
but I have to make sure I get the room.
Okay.
Most likely.
Otherwise, the basement.
No, you're gonna be in the basement, the rest of us are gonna be in
Up here, yeah.
Very good, everybody.
Wouldn't be the first.
Right? Okay.
All right, any discussion prior to vote? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
Good.
All right, and with that, we're on to
I make a motion to adjourn it.
A second. There's a motion and a second.
Okay, Randy and Chase.
I need to read my favorite passage from Walden. Just kidding. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
all those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
I'm leaving the meeting.
Me too.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
it is
yeah,
the
yeah.
meeting. All right.
Are you sure you're leaving the meeting?
Meeting.
So don't forget to log out.
Oh, so you go to agendas and then,
I think once you leave the meeting, it doesn't matter if you log out, right?
No, you still